Three, two, one. I hate sand. It's coarse, and it gets everywhere. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Coworkers podcast. I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm Regan.
And that was a little prequel meme teaser for what's to come. It does involve sand, and a lot of it. But before we get to that, let's go start off with a little bit of what we've been watching, not what we watched this week, because it has been like 2 weeks. So me and Reagan are kind of backed up.
Oh wait, what we've been watching or what we watched, like we usually do? Like, is that what we're talking about? Or
Yeah, like we're kind of backed up on like things that we want to talk about.
Oh
that we've been watching, you know?
yeah. Hold on.
We got a backlog.
Let me pull up my letterbox real quick.
Dude, I thought Reagan fell asleep on my bed. You just see the way he's lying down.
Oh yeah, I'm about to knock out.
He's ready to knock out. He's getting real comfy.
Yeah.
All
Give me a
right.
second. I'm almost there. Okay, ready? Ready.
Okay, yeah. Reagan will start us off.
All right, here we go. So, I watched Venom.
Oh,
I gotta give
brother.
Venom. Yeah, Venom. I didn't mind it. I thought
Oh.
it was super cheesy, super stupid, like the perfect amount.
Yeah.
And then what were you gonna say?
I wanted to say a few things also because I guess if this is if it's a movie that we both saw, that we can both say a little bit about
Yeah.
it. I thought this movie is I thought it was better than the first one.
Wait,
given-
wait, hold on. I'm talking about Venom, like the first one.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Okay, yeah. before you get to that. Okay, then my bad.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
And then that same night, I watched Venom. I saw Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
Oh shit.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, there we go. There's
There
my
we go.
jumping off point. I thought Let There Be Carnage was better than the first movie solely for the homoerotic relationship between Eddie and Venom and the weird Adam Sandler-esque like rom-com energy that they had, like the scene where Venom is like, get out of my house, and he starts throwing away like Tom Hardy's shit through the window, and then it was just so bizarre. This whole movie is really bizarre, but I thought it was so funny. I liked it more than the first one.
You really
sure.
think so? I don't know. I think they're just about the same in terms of like how much I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the whole like broken marriage thing with Venom and
I thought it was so dumb.
and Tom and whatever the fuck the guy's name is.
Eddie Block.
Eddie Block.
I'm journalist Eddie Block. Talks like a baby. I don't know what
Nice.
direction that he had, but it was so funny.
But yeah, and then I watched Punch Drunk Love from Paul Thomas Anderson.
Nice.
An absolute banger of a film.
Oh wait, hold on. Before we move on, what did you rate the two Venom movies?
I think the first one I gave like a C plus, and
Okay.
then the second one I gave like a C. So they're around there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then yeah, Punch Drunk Love, so good. Adam Sandler can fucking act.
Of course he can. He just got to work with the right people, or
Yep.
just try and not make a
QB
hang
Halloween.
out with my friends and family movie. But you know, it's like he's made us so big that he could just film a movie of his friends in a water park and
Yeah.
make $1 billion.
Yeah, of
like
course.
that's an actual like dream job. Think about it.
Mhm. Punch Drunk Love, I gave that like an A.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
fucking good.
I started it, but then I felt like I couldn't finish it because it was a movie that I needed to that deserved my undivided attention.
Right.
And I was working on stuff as I started it, so I was like, I have a feeling I'm gonna really like this, so I might as well just hold off on watching it until the appropriate time comes.
Yeah. Do you know why I watched it, Josh?
Why did you watch
Because
it?
November's coming up. And in November, there's a month-long Criterion Collection sale.
Yep.
Putting that out there.
Put it out there. Hell
and,
yeah.
And then I saw Rocky, the first Rocky movie.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's
Ba-bum,
yeah. It's a big
Ba-bum, bum.
it's a big underdog story.
Yeah, you know.
of a middle-class American man from Philly. And it won, I think, Best Picture at in the Academy Awards. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Nice.
I gave it like an A minus.
Excellent.
And then I saw Batman from Tim Burton.
Oh, Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah. Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's Batman.
He's a damn good fucking Batman, dude.
If only he could turn his neck.
Dude, I'm saying, bro. That's what I kept saying
He
when
had
I
to
watched it.
rotate his whole body.
Yep. The thing about this movie, I kind of felt the runtime like halfway through. I was like,
how long is it?
oh, it's like two something hours, like 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I kind of felt the runtime, but like Tim Burton's aesthetic, I think kind of like helped it a lot. The gothic.
Yeah, I feel
tone-ish.
it. That's cool. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And Jack
Sensibilities.
Nicholson as the Joker.
The Joker baby.
Perfect.
Nice.
And then I saw Clint Eastwood's newest film, Cry Macho.
Oh.
Yeah.
His alleged last movie, correct?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't feel anything for this movie. I don't know.
It didn't really pique my interest.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't, honestly. Like, this movie's it's whatever. I mean, there's some charming moments in it, because the whole premise is him like trying to like rescue this kid from Mexico and bring him to America.
Yeah.
And there's some charming bits in there, but as a whole, it's like it's not really interesting.
Damn, what a
Yeah.
shame. You know, the
Yeah.
only Clint Eastwood movie I've seen, I think, is Gran Torino.
Really? I haven't seen. This is my first Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
Eastwood
okay.
film,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Gran Torino is the only one that I've watched, and I watched it a long time ago, like when I was a
Yeah,
kid. So, and Clint Eastwood doesn't look like he's really aged, so like it shows like he's just an old man in my head.
And then I watched The Evil Dead from Sam Raimi.
Oh wait, what are your ratings for the last few movies?
Oh, Cry Macho. Fuck, Cry Macho, like a D. Yeah, it's a little boring.
All right.
And Batman, I gave it like a B for
Okay.
Batman.
Yeah, B for Batman. I like it.
But yeah, The Evil Dead.
Oh shit,
Dude,
brother!
What a banger of a fucking film,
I fucking
dude.
love that movie.
It's
I adore that
incredibly
movie.
campy.
It is, yeah.
But like all the special effects and the way that Sam Raimi like moves the camera.
Yeah, that was like ahead of its time.
Oh,
like
yeah.
nobody thought to do that type of like dolly shot, the POV shot of the demon like going through the forest and whatnot.
Mhm.
And it was the first time like a filmmaker like put you in the shoes of the demon, and it's so visceral. It's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it is an insane movie.
And he made that at 21, his first movie. I thought it was
Jesus.
fucking crazy. I was like, damn, this guy's on it. It's like, sure, you don't watch it to watch compelling characters or anything like that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
pretty like there's nothing to offer, but you watch it for the sheer carnage and like
Yeah.
how fun it seems like the whole movie is. It's so great. I
yeah.
love that movie.
Yeah. I gave it like an A.
You gave it an
minus.
A?
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently rewatched it as part of a special 40th anniversary screening. So I saw
Nice.
it in theaters with a bunch of like, Sam Raimi fans, and it was a really cool experience. And it's just as good as I remembered it. And I give it like an 8. Yeah,
Nice.
it's one of my
Nice.
it's one of my favorites.
Nice. And then you and I, we both saw Titan.
Yes,
Oh my
that movie's
god.
awesome.
What a fucking film, dude.
Yeah.
I will say this. I didn't entirely get it. Our initial viewing.
Mhm.
But the more I like thought about it, the more I marinated in it, I was like, yeah, this is a goddamn like good movie.
Yeah, dude.
And it won the Palme d'Or for a reason.
Our winner, our 2021 Palme d'Or winner.
Yeah.
Julia Ducournau.
Ducournau,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay then. I
Yeah,
felt like I might have butchered her name.
Yeah. In the following weeks after we watched, I just kept watching a bunch of interviews from her,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing her just like like interviewers like kind of picking her brain about it was like, holy
Yeah.
fuck. Like,
It's like so I watched Titan. We watched Titan after I just watched her debut film Raw, like a few days prior to it, and I'll talk about that when I talk about the movies that I watched. But Julia Ducournau has this intrigue with like injecting somewhat taboo subject matter where
Mhm.
it's like it's kind of like strange things to like discuss. For anybody who's unfamiliar with Raw, it's about cannibalism. So like she injects these like really off-putting subjects with like a warmth and a heart, and it's really really interesting, and that's what I found really fascinating about Titan. Is there anything else that you wanted to say about it other than it being a wild roller coaster ride of a movie?
One thing that she pointed out, which I found really interesting, was that in a lot of like the more visceral parts of the movie,
Yeah.
For example, when the main character is trying to break her nose,
Oh yes.
because when that scene happened, I was trying to like I was like covering my eyes. I was like closing my eyes. I was like, fuck, like that shit's But she points out you don't see it. I don't show it to you.
Yeah, it's the suggestion.
It's a suggestion that makes you like, shiver or whatever.
Yeah, it's because the way you use that effectively is that you need to relate it to an experience or like a tangible feeling, real world feeling that someone might get, and maybe someone has been injured, like they know what an injury feels like on the face. They maybe hit their nose on something, so you understand how painful it is. And when they feed you that imagery and suggest that action, you too could relate to what that person might be going through. And you don't need to show like a gnarled up nose or anything, or you don't need to like get really like graphic with it. It's just a mere suggestion.
Exactly.
And that's used effectively. There's the idea of visual storytelling where I'm pretty sure Reagan and I have discussed show don't tell, but there's also the idea of less is more.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And that's used effectively here, like in the example that Reagan brought up. Because along the entire movie, the entire runtime of Titan, there's a lot of showing. You don't need to add graphic nose injury to it.
Yeah. But yeah, Titan. It was such an interesting film, man.
I was really captivated with a lot of what it wanted to talk about, especially when I started to figure out what the movie wanted to talk about, and how, in my mind, it's essentially a reinterpretation or like deconstruction of the body horror genre. And yeah, it's really good, and I could actually see how it won the Palme d'Or, especially with like how it wraps up and what it wants to talk about. Very, very good movie. Very solid follow-up movie.
If you guys can watch it, if those listening are able to watch it, I think you guys should give it a watch. It gets a little crazy sometimes, but
just be prepared for some really, really strange visuals and events, and like some stuff that could definitely be off-putting if you're kind of green around the ears when it comes to like horror movies, and especially like French cinema, because they could get pretty wild. So just a heads up.
But for what it wants to say, I think it's a very interesting film. I think right now I'm sitting like at A-.
Oh, okay. Nice.
What did you rate it, Josh?
After the initial viewing, I gave it a 7, but I feel like after I watch it again, it'll probably go up, because like the more I thought about it, the more that like I let the movie simmer in my mind, the more I had appreciation for it, especially like looking back at some of the other movies that like I watched this year, and I thought like is this a 7 movie like compared to like the other like 7s that I've given out? And I'm like, I think I like it more for how bold it is than other things. So score subject to change, but right now it is a 7 out of 10. It's gets my recommendation. It's really good.
Nice. We're still talking about my movies that I watched. Fuck.
Yeah, no problem.
But I saw Ghostbusters, the first one.
Oh, the original, just in time for Ghostbusters Afterlife, whatever the heck this new one is called, with Paul Rudd.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
There's a funny energy, like tone to the movie, especially with like Bill Murray's character, where he's kind of like, I don't give a shit about like what's going on. He's like, what the fuck, like ghosts? I don't care. They're just like.
And it's funny because like he's the main character, and yet he's kind of an asshole. And yet like these guys aren't these like big like superhero figure or whatever the fuck. They're not like these righteous men. They're kind of just blue collar workers. Right, and they're just kind of. They're just kind of thrust into
this
wild world.
Strange predicament that they find themselves in, like Twinkies.
Oh yeah, but the the special effects are just insane, like especially for the 80s, like it's really cool.
We gotta cross the streams, bro.
Cross the streams. We have to cross the streams.
Hell yeah, dude.
But yeah, dogs and cats living together. But yeah, and then I gave that like a B+, A-. It was really fun.
For bustin'.
It was a lot of fun. B for bustin'. Oh god. And then I saw Psycho.
Oh,
the classic,
Hitchcock.
It's a classic for a reason.
Yep.
It's really fucking good. I don't know if there's anything I can say about it. I mean,
that
it's
everybody
Psycho.
Else hasn't.
Yeah,
like,
it's
said,
Psycho.
It's Psycho.
Yeah, I will say I didn't expect it to start off the way it did.
Yeah, the most iconic scene happens in like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, And I was like, oh, they changed characters. Oh shit.
Yeah, that was
interesting.
Ahead of its time. No one expected that, and for the '60s, it was way too brutal for a lot of people.
You know, Psycho is responsible for us having showtimes in theaters, right?
Really?
Yeah, because Alfred Hitchcock wanted that twist ending.
Yeah.
To be a surprise to everyone.
Oh.
Because before you can just show up to any movie whatever the fuck you wanted, but because he wanted that reveal to be to be surprising, he I guess he really wanted people to be there on time from the beginning and watch it. So yeah, I gave
Hitchcock, very cool.
Yep. So I gave Psycho like an A.
Nice.
And then I watched the last Daniel Craig James Bond movie.
Oh yeah.
No
I still
Time
have
to
to
Die.
watch that. No Time to Die.
A 2-hour and 46-minute movie.
Holy shit.
I thought, I was like, oh my god, that's very daunting. Considering the fact that I didn't even watch Spectre.
Okay, I don't think you're missing out on much if you ask the grand scheme of James Bond fans.
But I did see Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall.
Casino Royale is so sick.
Oh, so sick.
I love that movie.
But I think No Time to Die successfully sent off Daniel Craig as James Bond.
Nice.
And it paid tribute to his past films in a very effective way. And of course, the action's top notch. It's fucking it's gonna be top notch. I will say Rami Malek's villain has to be the weakest villain out of the James Bond franchise.
Damn.
Or sorry, just the Daniel Craig movies. He has to be the weakest. But James Bond as a character, Leia Seydoux' character,
Leia Seydoux.
and Lashana Lynch's character.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let's fucking get it, bro. Like they are all like they're in it. They're in it for the last movie. What else can I say? Yeah, the last James Bond movie. I actually really enjoyed it.
Where does it go in the Daniel Craig echelon of James Bond movies? Where would you place it?
Probably. So out of the 4 I watched,
okay, yeah,
Casino Royale the top.
All right.
No Time to Die after.
Oh.
Skyfall.
Wow.
And then Quantum of Solace. Yeah, I know that's it. I hold it in high regard, but
yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
That's cool because usually the conversation for Daniel Craig's Bond movies is like it's a toss up between Casino Royale and Skyfall. That's always the conversation.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I gave it like a B+,
nice,
A-.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the Funny Lamb movie.
Another movie we could talk about together. Bad to the bone.
What a wild I had no expectations going into this.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, what the fuck did I watch?
Exactly.
And I don't know. It's a very interesting film to say the least.
It's strange.
Oh,
because,
very.
If you're familiar with movies and you're familiar with production studios, then when you see the opening logo for A24, you're kind of in for an interesting movie, or like it's a bit off kilter.
Yeah.
And this movie is without a doubt in that same vein, especially with like its marketing and whatnot. I feel like this is a movie that I could solidly say that the marketing was incredibly deceiving.
Yeah, because it's marketed as a horror movie.
Yes.
And I don't think it's a horror movie at all.
I don't think it's a horror movie either. It's more like a dark, like fairy tale fantasy slice of life movie.
Yeah.
And that's what caught me off guard like the most. And like I get it that like there are scenes that are pretty uncomfortable, or like it's just like it gets under your skin. Given that like we're talking about a infant that's like half lamb, half human.
Yeah.
So naturally it's going to be off-putting. But like there wasn't really anything about it that I would say is terrifying unless you find the subject matter of the story to be like really scary.
Yeah.
I found it more interesting after the fact.
Oh, of course, yeah. And I think a lot of like, especially when the lamb child, Ada, when she like gets a little older, and she bonds with her family, like it's very charming.
It is, yeah.
I was like, it's cute.
It's
cute.
like Paddington.
Oh,
this
God.
movie's like Paddington.
Dripped out, bro. Ada's dripped out, bro.
Yeah, hella dripped out, bro. There's all this like weird. So the main crux of the movie is the fact that there's this family that wants to live peacefully in this idyllic farm life, and then things get kind of turned on its head when the husband's brother comes home and kind of crashes at their place for a little bit, and like secrets are revealed about them and whatnot, and then it's like that's the main brunt of the movie, the meat of the movie. And then you have scenes of Ada walking around, tripping over her own 2 feet, and wearing oversized sweaters. And it's really weird.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I understand what the movie wants to say, what the director and everybody is like trying to do. I just feel like the movie as a whole is kind of a hard sell.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Where it's like, it just feels like a bit uneven. And the technical aspects and stuff like that, it's like the look of the movie, I loved how like mysterious everything looked, but how like even though like there's like a warm like sense of family at the center of it, it all feels so cold in the environment. Granted, it's filmed in like Iceland, I believe, and there's always like these like overshadowed like these giant clouds like looming over the farm that they live on. It kind of looks like sheep's wool. Is like what I was getting from it. And then it's the fact that like things are being obscured, there's secrets in the family, and yada yada yada. And like I get that, but it's like when it only comes together like so well. Yeah. Especially by the end of it, the way it ended, I was like, well, that's how it ends. Like no, like that's the last shot.
That's exactly how I feel too.
And then it's an A24 movie that tries to be a little too A24, in my opinion. Yeah. And that's pretty much how I feel about it.
I mean, I found it interesting. I mean, I think it's definitely a movie about like found family. Because spoilers. The film suggests that the couple, they tried before for a child. Yeah. And that child unfortunately passed away. Yep. And the lamb child and the previous child both share the same name of Ada. So there's definitely this like almost projection of like
it's a second try.
Yeah, second try.
It's another chance at it.
Yeah, wanting to have a kid. Yeah. And I guess like they even hinted at that in the beginning because their marriage or whatever, their relationship isn't going so well. Yeah. But once Ada comes into their life, it's like now they're like bonding even more. Yeah.
They could try to be a family once again. Yeah. They're shattered and they're like they're attempting to put it back together. Yeah.
And then, okay. This is gonna be a weird interpretation, but this is how I kind of saw it. Okay. So these guys, this couple, they work on a barn or like a farm.
Yeah, they're shepherds.
Yeah, and they basically take care of a bunch of these like lambs, right? And like a bunch of these animals. And I think part of what this film is about is how we treat like our pets or our animals like family. And I saw like a lot of how. So a little backstory. I had a dog. He passed away earlier this year. And, my dog was very much part of our family. Yeah. He was like a fourth child of my parents. And so the way I saw in this film how the couple would treat Ada is sort of similar like how my parents would treat my dog. You know, almost as if like our animals or our pets, they become family. Right? And how like we treat them as if they're a child. Or a sibling or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I just found it interesting.
I like that interpretation.
That's what I kind of got out of it.
There's also the line that the dad's brother's name is Peter, where he says like, "What are you guys doing?" Like that's an animal. Right. And then the dad Ingvar, he's like, "Oh, it's not an animal. It's like a miracle." Right. I was like, Right. But now that you have that angle, that interpretation, it's really interesting. I really like that.
But yeah, that's Lamb. If you guys want to check it out, because it's A24, A24 is known to be like super aesthetic with everything and like
they want to kind of break the mold and like make different movies, which is very commendable.
Yeah, this it's art. It's accessible art house. That's what I like to call it. I would give Lamb about maybe a B. I'm sitting at a B or a B plus.
A B, like bah. Yeah, I gave it a 6. Like I liked it, but I feel like there was a lot left to be desired.
And then the next thing I watched was not a film. Well, it was a film, but I saw it live.
Ah.
Bump, bum, 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 bump, bump. How does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore, and a Scotsman dropped in? Okay, I watched Hamilton live. I don't know if that was obvious enough, but I saw Hamilton live.
And Ja Rule wasn't there.
No, Ja Rule was not there. Thank God. But dude, Hamilton's so good.
Nice.
It's so good live. A different theater experience for me.
I bet the experience is completely different because my only recollection of Hamilton is watching the live recording that was put on Disney Plus earlier last year.
Yeah. And see, the thing about that was, I'm gonna be real, I couldn't get past the first act. Watching it on Disney Plus. But like watching it live and getting through it, I was like, I'm invested.
Yeah, dude, you're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it, and I haven't stopped listening to the soundtrack since.
Nice.
So yeah, Hamilton. I don't think I'm gonna grade it. I just based off of the experience alone, I just had a great time. But yeah, I watched Hamilton. They're here until the 31st. So for those of you listening,
got a few days.
Yeah, y'all got a few days to get your tickets and watch it. But yeah, and then I saw Edgar Scissorhands. Edward Scissorhands.
I was like, is that flip up?
No, dude, Edgar haircut. But
Driving a Yukon?
God. But yeah, Edward Scissorhands, man.
Another Tim Burton.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't know there's much to say about it. I mean, it's Edward Scissorhands. It's a classic, you know.
Yep.
Again, Tim Burton's like gothic style almost is what really makes it.
That's his sensibility.
Yeah, and that contrasted with the like picture perfect suburbia that it portrays is really interesting.
Nice.
I gave Edward Scissorhands maybe like a B plus.
Nice.
And then I saw George A. Romero's classic zombie film, Night of the Living Dead.
The OG.
The OG.
The guy who started it all.
Yeah.
Mr. Romero.
Yeah. Dude, it's a good film.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's not The Walking Dead. You know, it's not the modern like zombie movies that we see today.
What's crazy is that the movie is a lot of George A. Romero's earlier zombie movies are social commentaries.
Yeah, very much so.
Dawn of the Dead is about consumerism, and this one's about racism.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, the main character is an African American man who's in a house with a bunch of white people, and then him like kind of taking charge of like. You know, like this is what we need to do.
Being a leading man, doing all the right choices, only to be shot by the police at the end of the movie.
Dude, when I saw that, I was like, "Hey, yo, what the fuck?"
Yep.
What the fuck? Yeah, it's a damn good movie. I'm sitting at like a B plus or an A.
Nice. May he rest in peace.
And then I saw The Shining.
Kubrick stare.
Red rum. Red rum. It's The Shining. I don't know if there's anything else I could say. It's, you know, it gets a little.
You're just here to see what all the fuss is about with these movies.
You know, it gets a little. I don't want to say dense, but like, you know, there's a lot of like puzzles that you need to figure out throughout the movie, really.
Yes.
But I mean, it's The Shining, right?
Damn right.
You know? And I'm glad I saw this now, considering that I saw Dr. Sleep. I think earlier this year or like last year.
So you went backwards.
Yeah, I went backwards. So I kind of connected it.
Nice.
But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, Jack Nicholson as his character is like.
Here's Johnny.
Insane.
Of course, bro.
Amazing. And I feel so bad for Shelley Duvall. God damn it, Kubrick. God damn it. And then I saw Evil Dead 2. Turn up the camp 1,000%.
Yeah, turn it up 1,000%. Let's just go in a completely. Almost different direction, but it was still in the vein of the Evil Dead universe, but with a lot more comedy. Yeah, it is awesome.
It's great. I mean, it's Evil Dead 2. It's Sam Raimi. Like,
baby, you know what it is? It's groovy.
It's groovy. The motherfucking chainsaw arm, bro. It's sick. And then I saw The Last Duel, the newest Ridley Scott film until House of Gucci comes out.
Yes.
Written by Matt Damon. Ben Affleck, and then give me a second, sorry, and then someone else. Sorry, give me a second. I don't want to butcher her name. I probably will though. Come on, sorry. Written, so it's Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Nicole Holofcener. I don't know if I said that right. Yeah, I think it's a really good movie. After like
Nice.
thinking about it, I think it's a pretty damn good movie. It's just unfortunate that it bombed at the box office.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, trigger warning. I'm gonna talk about rape and sexual assault, but the film is essentially about Matt Damon's wife being raped by another person, and then her like Adam Driver's character,
right? Okay.
and then and then this whole duel having to coincide of like for her like if she's innocent or guilty.
Yeah.
I think the most effective part of this movie was the third act when it's centered around Jodie Comer's character. I think that is the best part of this film. Because it is written by Nicole Holofenster, like that third act.
Yeah.
Not to say that like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are incompetent, but I'm just saying that because it was written by a woman, it feels more real.
Yeah.
Per se.
I gotcha.
And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I think Jodie Comer's performance like really sealed the deal for me. And like Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ben Affleck, I mean, they've been doing it for a while, so of course they're gonna, bring their A game.
Yep.
But I would highly suggest you guys see this.
Yeah, throw Adam Driver a bone.
Yeah.
He's gotta make a living somehow. Come on.
Yeah. And then I saw A Nightmare on Elm Street, another campy-ish horror film.
Yup. Wes Craven, bro. This is real. Yup. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. It's damn good, dude.
Yeah,
I liked
it's a lot of fun.
I really enjoyed it. I tried to watch. I was talking to you about this, but I was watching it with my mom, and like she was like, "Oh, I can't watch this," and like she kind of left. But I mean, hey, it's campy, it's horror, and it's a classic, horror film, and I enjoyed it.
At the turn of the slasher genre craze,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is really cool because given that like. When people think about the slasher genre, they go Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. And the great thing about Freddy Krueger is how charismatic he is as a slasher villain. Because Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers are scary due to the fact that they are unstoppable forces of like evil.
Yeah.
And they kill without remorse.
Yeah.
And Freddy Krueger is brought to a different level because of Robert Englund and how like into the character and how like vicious he was with like when he talks to his victims. And he's not like a big like imposing body. He kind of looks like a clown with that fucking sweater
yeah, with
on.
the sweater and the
and he just adds like a different edge to it that like he's like toying with his victims. And I think that's really cool about Freddy Krueger as a character.
I gave Nightmare on Elm Street like a B+, A-.
Nice.
That's what I'm sitting at. And then I saw a new film that came out this year called Mass, about four parents.
Yeah, you're telling me about this one.
Who meet because basically these parents meet because after a mass shooting, because one child of the parents was the perpetrator, and then the other child of the parents died unfortunately in that shooting. I would highly suggest everyone watch this film. Only because it's a small film, small indie film. Support it. I would highly suggest you guys watch this. It's not political in any sense of the word. It throws all the politics about all that stuff out the window, and it speaks about like really just like how could this have happened? How can people heal from this? And yeah, I mean, and it's very performance centered.
Yeah.
I think everyone involved in this, like the four main characters are just top notch. Yeah, it's a great film. I think it might be in my top 10 of the year. I don't know yet, but I think everyone should watch this film one way or another.
Okay.
And yeah, that's all I watched. Very extensive.
What did you give that last movie?
Mass.
Yeah.
A minus. That's what I'm sitting at right now.
The air.
Yeah. Josh, if we actually before that, now a word from our sponsor. So if you're like me and Josh and you want to make your own podcast, why not use Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. So there are certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere that podcasts can be listened to. On top of that, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's free. So, what are you guys waiting for? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And we're back, folks. I apologize for taking up all of that time.
Nah, dude,
Josh,
it's all right. My boy just loves watching so
Yeah.
many movies. He's on that. He's been on that honeymoon phase with watching movies.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
But anyways, I shall discuss some of the movies that I watched.
Take it away, Josh. Take it away.
We'll try to get through this really quickly. So first off, I mentioned how I watched Raw, Julia Ducournau's debut film, and I think that movie is great. I adore it. Pretty much like top to bottom. I think it's such an excellent debut movie. I gave it a 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
And then I watched a movie on HBO Max. Can't even really be considered a movie. It's called Shiva Baby.
Oh!
One of the most uncomfortable movies I've seen in a while.
Yes.
It is hilarious. It's dark. It has a weird influence from horror movies in its soundtrack and its visuals and cinematography. It's so claustrophobic, and it is a really, really fun time. And it feels very personal to the director.
The best part about that film is that the director is our age.
Really?
And it's just very inspiring, yeah.
Yeah.
Super inspiring.
Super great. I gave that an 8. I loved it's one of my favorite movies probably this year.
Uh-oh.
And then the next movie I watched is one of my least favorite movies of this year.
Here we go.
It is Halloween Kills.
Ooh.
This movie fucking sucks.
Did you watch it for free?
I watched it for free. I didn't want to spend money on it, and then my little brother hit me up and was like, "Hey, did you know that we have a Peacock account because you can watch Halloween Kills?" And it's dumb. It's so stupid. Like it's just like the worst thing a horror movie could be is boring and also probably laughable. Like you laugh at it and not be scared. And that's what it is. It feels weirdly like egregious in like how kind of brutal it is. It's kind of just like really, really violent. Like, and I get it. It's a Halloween movie. You need the carnage, but like it's imbalanced by like this silliness and this weird like tacked on message about mob mentality and like hive mind thinking and like hate and whatnot. And I'm just like, it just comes off as like silly. And I gave that a 4. It's not good. It's not good. Now after that, I watched The Wolf of Wall Street from beginning to end for the first time. And I think that movie is really, really good.
Marty!
Yeah, thank you, Marty. Is it like the best thing since sliced bread and like one of the greatest movies ever made? In my opinion, not necessarily. Is it a really good biopic? Yeah. And I think what sells it is Leo's performance as the Jordan Belfort, this fucking crazy, coked out, wacky, almost like a cartoon character. He doesn't seem real, but like all of the stuff that happened apparently was real, and there's a lot more extreme stuff that happened that is not touched on in the movie, which makes me think that this guy's a fucking sicko.
Right.
But where the movie really gets under my skin is how excessive it is and how indulgent it is. And I get that's the point of the movie, but like it really made me uncomfortable with like how much substance abuse and how much craziness and debauchery kept on going on. But it made for a very, very enthralling watch, and it placates on like the idea of watching a human or a character that you can't really root for, but you're just so fascinated by him. Look at the Safdie brothers. Look at this movie. You know, Martin Scorsese makes a bunch of movies about people that you don't necessarily root for, but you find them very interesting. And what sets it all apart from the rest is that this is a real life person. This is someone's life.
Yeah.
And I give it an 8.
Nice.
It's so energetic. And it's so like... Also, Jonah Hill in the movie is fucking weird. His teeth, like, I don't know what they did to it, but he's so off-putting.
Jesus.
It was so funny. Like, his character, hilarious.
Nice.
After that, I watched another movie about Wall Street, but this time with a more dark humor sensibility, satirical. It's called American Psycho. With Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah.
A young Christian Bale, absolutely ripped out of his fucking mind. He is so, like, chiseled in this movie. I was watching him, I'm just like, what the hell? Like, when did this movie come out? How old was he? This movie came out in 2000, and his character, Patrick Bateman, is 24 years old. And I was like, oh my God, like, he looks so young.
Yeah.
Also, granted, the movie wants you to see that this is a person who's like sculpted and like almost like a perfect human being, you know, but he lacks empathy, a moral compass, and he's like a robot. This
Wow.
movie is like if Data from Star Trek, the fucking android guy, was a Wall Street yuppie, and he's trying to masquerade as one, and he just goes around murdering people. The way he talks like a car salesman, and it's so funny. Like, there's an iconic scene, if you're unaware, where he murders Jared Leto with a fucking axe.
Mm.
And like as he's talking to a drunk Jared Leto in his apartment, he mentions a band, Huey Lewis and the News, and they start listening to the song Hip to Be Square. And then Christian Bale is like, do you know a thing or two about this band? Because they made it so that like they made this music as a way to send a message to their fans, and how they don't want to keep on making music or some bullshit like that. He's pretty much regurgitating talking points from like music reviews, and like he can't form a thought for himself. He doesn't know how to be human. And then on top of that, he just goes and murders Jared Leto with an axe. And he's just like so giddy about it. It's a wild movie. I thought it was really funny. It's not scary, but you don't watch it for that. You watch it for this really strange story that's transpiring. And the director has gone on record to say that like there's no like subtext, there's no like bigger picture, like satire it wants to no point that she wants to make. But like I can kind of see inklings of like it being a movie about like the top 1% who run things in Wall Street and stuff like that, and abuse of power and whatnot. And if you want to think about it that way, it makes for a different watch, but overall it's just really fun.
Nice.
I gave that one a 7.
Nice.
After that, I saw a movie that came out earlier this year. It's called Nobody. Did you ever watch that?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to see it.
It's like John Wick for dads.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's really funny. Granted, I've been rewatching Breaking Bad, and I'm familiar with Bob Odenkirk as Saul Goodman, the corrupt lawyer in that movie. And he's like a schwarmy, like smooth talking, like, you know, type of guy. He's really slimy.
Right.
In this movie, he just plays a dad who's he just wants to be like a house father, you know? He just wants to live a very quiet life. Until his daughter's kitty cat bracelet gets kidnapped by Russians, and he beats the shit out of so many Russians in this movie.
Jesus.
It's really funny. The action, given that like Bob Odenkirk is a older gentleman, and like they want to sell the fact that like he's a bit out of his element and whatnot. I think that's all done really well. The action's pretty solid. There's a surprise appearance by Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, from Back to the Future, Doc Brown.
Yeah.
He plays Bob Odenkirk's dad.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I gave it a 7.
Nice.
I actually liked it quite a bit. And the last movie that I watched is going to be a dual discussion with Reagan and I, because we watched Dune. The new Denis Villeneuve space epic. Dune Part 1.
Yep.
We have to emphasize that because
Part
Part
1.
2 just got fucking greenlit, and I am so excited for it.
October 23, 2023.
So now that I've been talking for a good 10 minutes, Reagan, would you like to lead us off? What did you think about Dune?
Motherfucking Dune. Movie's fucking big, bro.
It's big.
Big. Now, I'm gonna be real. Doesn't really say anything like, you know, like big and like important, right? It's a chosen one narrative. We've seen it, you know, in other forms of media, right? But I think what really sealed the deal for me was like the grandeur of the film, the scale of the film.
Yes, very much so.
It is insane. Absolutely insane of what Denis Villeneuve was able to do. Yep. Now, I don't know if it was entirely like practical, or if it was all CGI or whatever, what have you, but it was just big.
The ambition.
Yeah. Like
to film a property that was thought to be impossible for 50 years. It's kind of insane that we have it.
Yeah. I mean, like, people are lauding this as like the newest Lord of the Rings or the newest Star Wars. And I think they're right.
It's Star Wars before Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. George Lucas was heavily inspired by Dune. So, I mean, of course, like, it makes sense. And I mean, like, the cast, too. The cast is big.
Oh, it's... Not only is it big because they had Stellan Skarsgård in that fucking fat suit, and Jason Momoa is big as fuck, but, I mean, there's a lot of big-name actors and actresses in here.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And they all turned in a pretty killer performance.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know what else there is to say. It's just big.
Yeah, it's so awe-inspiring is like what came to me. And it's like people say that this is the Star Wars before Star Wars and whatnot, but or like people made the comparison that this was like Lord of the Rings, which is, I think it's kind of an odd comparison, because Lord of the Rings and Star Wars have like a more easygoing,
He's like digestible. Right?
It's a lot more digestible. It's not dense. Yeah. Whereas Dune really ruminates in the minutia of politics.
Oh, of course.
Space politics.
Yeah.
And it really needs to establish that to really give you a feel for like how big like this event is and how wide it spreads across their galaxy.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I think it really, this film at part 1 took its time like setting up the mythology.
Yes, that is very
of the
important.
World.
They can't rush it, which is why this first book had to be split up into 2 parts. It's the setup. But like, given that it is set up, I was completely enamored by like the hierarchy of the powers and like what they all do and like how they all function, the way they all look.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so alien, and I was so fascinated by it all. And it's just really, really good. But and also at the heart of it, Regan touched upon how it's a chosen one story. And I don't know anything about Paul Atreides, Timothy Chalamet's character. I didn't know much about him or like what the goal of his character was until I saw this first part of the movie, and it pretty much takes the whole movie to establish like what his character is. And it made me very interested to see where it goes, because what this movie does is it uses dream sequences. Now, I had this thought where the last movie I thought about dream sequences being used in was fucking Justice League or Batman versus Superman,
Yeah.
It's like, in my mind, I had this discussion with my little brother where I thought to myself, why do I think the dream sequences in Dune work and the ones in Justice League do not?
Yeah.
And what we came to the conclusion that Dune's like dream sequences, like flash forward sequences, aren't there just to sell the promise of a future movie.
Right.
They are used to propel Paul Atreides' story forward.
Right.
And in like the DC movies, they're used solely for the sale of like a future movie. Like, I was really, really fascinated actually with like the dream sequences, because they tell a tale of what's to come, what's supposed to come. It's Paul Atreides' it's his fate as the chosen one.
Right.
And I feel like that's a big part of the movie, and why I feel like his chosen one story kind of deviates from like how like a chosen one's path is like set. It's like you're supposed to be greatness and stuff like that. The whole movie is full of other people's aspirations for Paul, and they never give him a voice of like, it's like in the beginning where Oscar Isaac's character Leto is like, you're gonna when I'm gone, you're going to run a House Atreides, and I didn't want to do this when your grandfather died, but I found out that it was my calling. And then Paul is still like, I don't really know if I want to do this. And then on top of that, Rebecca Ferguson's character, Paul Atreides' mom, was like, oh, you're going to be the chosen one. I used chosen twice, my bad. You will be this god, who has been chosen by the Bene Gesserit, this like hierarchy of like occultists, and like they're almost like witches who have been
they
tampering?
like genetically like tamper with like producing like the chosen one.
Yeah, essentially, and they found it in Paul Atreides, and now he has this other prophecy where he needs to be this god and to lead the people, and then there's like all these other things that are kind of pulling Paul in different directions of what they think he should be, but not what he wants to be. And it finally clicked with me when at the end of the movie, spoilers by the way, at the end of the movie where the movie finishes with him having the duel with that Fremen.
Right.
I forgot what his name is, but in his vision he's supposed to die.
Yeah.
And then when he defies fate and he becomes a Fremen, and then it's like there's more to come from it. I feel like that's just a way of showing that like these dreams and aspirations that he has and what other people place on him, he doesn't have to follow it. He could be his own person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is the type of movie it's gonna be. This is the type of story that Paul Atreides is gonna have. And I think that's really cool. And like, you know, at the end of the movie, Rebecca Ferguson was like, hey, like we have to get out of Arrakis and stuff like that. And then Paul Atreides was like, no, it's like I'm going to do like what my dad like told me I should do, or like what we came here to do on Arrakis, harness sand power, and like he's gonna do it his way. And then the dream sequences are suggesting that like, you know, he's gonna have blue eyes where he'll like trade in his loyalty to like Atreides and become a Fremen or something like that. It's like hinting all this stuff in it's hinting all this stuff in service of Paul's character and what he wants, his motivations. And I found that so good. And because this idea of identity and fate and who you are as a person, your own choices, this is something that is heavily found, many times in Denis Villeneuve's filmography, in something like Enemy, Blade Runner 2049. The whole movie is pretty much about this. It's about choosing your own destiny. And the fact that it reminded me of my favorite Denis movie, I was like, let's fucking go. It got me so excited. And I cannot wait for part 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of just like
no, it's fine.
took over the conversation.
No, it's fine.
That.
It's fine. I mean, obviously, like, it seems like you got a lot out of it in terms of, like, the character arc. But, like, you know, I agree. I pretty much agree with what you're saying. I mean, like, I think the character arc really shows, like, in terms of Paul, like, it really showed, like, towards the end. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, this is what's...
this is how...
gonna happen.
Yeah, this is how he's gonna do it.
Here's a little taste.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was just talking about the end of the movie, but that's not to say that, like, there are parts throughout the main runtime that didn't have me completely enraptured with what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, the fucking invasion scene where everything like comes to a head.
Yeah.
That's not even like the climax of the movie. You can kind of look at it that way, but like it's just like a big spectacle moment, and it is insane.
Yeah.
Like how big everything is, and like the repercussions and whatnot. It's just so crazy. Yeah. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
fun
much.
fact. I told you this already, but for the audience, a lot of the sword fighting scenes were inspired by Eskrima, the Filipino martial arts. So, good on there, Denny.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for looking out for us. We really appreciate it. Maybe in 10 years I could work with you on like Dune 4 or like fucking I could be your concept artist for something. I don't know.
Nice.
But yeah. I can't wait for the next
one.
Next one's
gonna be insane. I think I should give it another watch.
Yeah, I still need to watch it in theaters to get the full experience, because I watched it on HBO Max at my mom's like home theater setup, and like we have some like pretty like decent speakers and whatnot and a nice sound system, but like especially when they use the voice, I can only imagine what that's like on speakers.
Like I was telling you about this, but like spoilers, that one scene when they were being kidnapped.
Yeah.
And Lady Jessica's thing was like pulled down. Like I kind of jumped out of my seat when she used the voice. I was like, holy shit.
I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, but me,
bro.
for me, I was fortunate enough to get a bigger, I didn't watch an IMAX or anything, but I was fortunate enough to get a bigger screen.
Yeah.
For like watching in theaters, and it's good. Like it's
meant
big.
For that.
Yeah, it's meant for that.
It's like, you know how there was that whole debacle where Denis Villeneuve was like, he was kind of like angry that his movie was going to be on HBO Max because he believed that like it needs to be seen in theaters.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go see it in theaters, and Reagan is saying that the theater experience was pretty great.
Yeah.
So I think your two favorite hosts, we're vouching for this damn movie.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Go watch it, guys. Okay.
What do you rate it?
Hold on. Before I say that.
Okay, yeah.
Don't go in there expecting you're gonna get answers to everything. After all, it's part 1. So
it's stated in the beginning of the movie that it's
be
part
patient
1.
with it. I know that's what a lot of like people were saying, like, oh, like I don't get it.
It's an incomplete movie. It's an incomplete narrative.
Yeah. So be patient with it, but be open to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then hopefully it'll get you excited for part 2, which will be hopefully 10 times bigger than part 1.
Goddamn. So Reagan, wrap it up.
Oh,
What do you think?
I think
What are your thoughts? What is your rating on Dune?
Oh, I'm sitting at maybe an A minus. I'm sitting there right
okay,
now. I think
nice.
if I give it another rewatch, maybe it'll be one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know yet, but yeah, that's me. Josh, what would you give it?
I give Dune the strongest 8 that I could give it because it'll probably go up after I see it in theaters. My temporary score right now is 8. I really, really like this movie.
Nice.
And yeah, that's our thoughts on Dune. Now, before we wrap it up, you mentioned how it might be in your top 10. With the year winding down and only a few more months ahead of us, why don't you give the viewers a little teaser about a couple of the movies that you might think are going to make that list?
Oh, I'll tease them all right.
And for anybody out there listening, like yourselves, make an assumption, like predict what our list might be.
I actually started putting my top. I don't know if it's top 10 or 15 or whatever yet.
Yeah.
But
you watched a lot.
I've been starting to put my top films of 2021. I'll give you 4 right now. In the Heights.
All right.
9 Days. The Green Knight. And The Suicide Squad.
Ooh.
That's just 4. I need to figure out a bunch of the other ones.
You guys could try to pick Reagan's brain and figure out the rest of his list.
But hopefully by December 31st, I will have a definitive list.
Yeah, and Reagan and I have actually agreed that for our top 10 lists, we will be making separate videos on them. So be on the lookout for that towards the end of the year.
Be on the lookout.
Yeah.
And, all right. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, please let us know. Give us a follow on Spotify, Anchor, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at coworkers.podcast to stay up to date with everything. If you guys haven't yet, Josh and I made a short film. It's up on YouTube. The link is in our bio on Instagram, so check it out if you haven't yet. And yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Reagan.
And I'm Josh.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yep.
You can't see it, but
we're doing the Atreides salute.
Atreides!
Atreides accepts.